I mean, you out of anyone have had the most weird experience, given that you were essentially given a life sentence, and so you felt ecstatic, you embarked on an amazing tour, you know, it was a kind of very heightened time, wasn't it? And then you had an operation and you were all right. It's like it's a bit like, you know, when people go towards the light and then they come back again.
Yeah. The whole thing wasn't anything like I would have expected. This was, in fact, in extra time. It was in, they'd given me 10 months to live. And in that 11th month, was making this album with Roger Daltrey. And sometimes I would step outside the studio in the night time and think, I mean, you have to understand, I didn't know Roger very well at that time. I'd only met him a couple of times before, so he was still, to me, a star. You know, when you get to know stars, they turn into geezers. You know, but Roger was still like a star, and I'm walking about in the dark outside and thinking, wow, this just get too silly, you know. But you know, I've had a pretty good life, and now I'm ending it up making an album with Roger Daltrey, and it's, you know, you can't take it in, you know. A little while after this, I've got someone popping up and saying, "We think we can save you." Now, I mean, one of the ways I handled the whole thing was I told myself right at the beginning, right, okay, I'm going to die. I've got a few months left. I'm not going to waste any of that precious time chasing after false hopes, disappointments. I haven't got time for that. So I think I'm going to die. Just do it, and I held very strongly onto that idea, and I accepted it, and I didn't believe. I mean, you get a lot of people, you know, little cranks and people coming up to you and you know, my friend's got an invention that he's made out of an old tea kettle or something that will solve the, you know, that can cure cancer, and you think, man, don't waste any more precious time with this. I mean, sometimes it's quite charming. I remember there was this couple in Japan that gave me this pair of socks that had yellow toes on them, and there was something about if you put them on, and as these toes vanish or whatever they do, gradually they take the cancer away. So that's quite nice. You also get this. You also get this thing, many people do this, and I know they're only trying to be helpful, but if they just sat and thought about it for a minute, people come and go, listen, my cousin knows this woman who was given 10 months to live, and she's still alive 16 months later, and you think, well, do you really think that helps me? Well, because it doesn't, but you just pass your time.
But do you find it different now? Now there's not a... I mean, there's a kind of, that's a very heightened experience, and now you're back to kind of normal. Well,
as I said, I've probably got my feet back on the ground now, but it took a long time to, as I say, I mean, having rigidly held on to this idea that I was going to die, and then suddenly you've got a future. I mean, it might be a good, I don't know, but you know, if you're suffering from a terminal illness, you have to live in the moment, and it's a difficult thing to do. You know, it's a difficult thing to do. I mean, I've never been a person that's learnt to meditate or anything like that, but that's what you've got to do, because that's all you've got. There is no future, right? You don't have to, anything you do, you don't have to do it in reference to the future or what's going to happen. As far as the past goes, you haven't got time to make amends for all the things you wish you think, oh man, you know, all the things all your sins or whatever. You haven't got time to make amends. So you've got to forget about the past. You haven't got a future. You've got to live in that moment. Sometimes easy to do, sometimes hard.